What is the number one killer of all motivation, all inspiration, all business success, all sales success, every single thing that derails momentum and finishing the week, the month, and the year strong always comes down to this one thing, and that's why I wanted to shoot this video. It comes down to learning how to battle discouragement more than ever, not just internally, not just with us, not just with the Ascender. This is a global pandemic, and I'm not talking about the stuff you breathe in and the woo-woo. I'm talking about the internal battles that we all go through in terms of discouragement. And before I kind of talk about what it is, how you fix it, how do you adopt the high performance mindset, how would an Ascender overcome the discouragement, I want to highlight it explicitly to you so you understand, okay, this is how discouragement shows up to me. This is my flavor of suffering. This is my flavor of poison. This is every piece of it, because I want you to be hyper aware of it. Discouragement is simply when things do not go your way, or you are going on this momentous path and something sets you back, something takes you down in some element. It could be you're doing good, things are grooving, sales are going, sets are going, momentum is going, all that kind of stuff is happening, and then maybe you have 2 nights of bad sleep. And just having the bad sleep puts you in a low energetic state. Then all of a sudden, boom, you have a refund, a chargeback. Something falls through, something happens, and every one of you has something different. And I'm just listing some things to get you to think about, okay, what is the thing that starts to defeat you? What is that thing that puts you in that defeatist mindset without even you knowing? What is that thing that stops you from moving forward gracefully, excited, with that joy, with that vibrancy? How does it show up for you? Is it a set, you get some no-shows, you get a chargeback, you get a refund, you get this thing, you feel bad, you get in an argument, you get in a fight, something happens. And at some point, it is bound to happen. It does not matter who you are, what you are. There's always some setback that is coming for you. And I don't mean it to be evil, gloomy. It's like, dude, shit is going to happen. And part of the Ascender's way is like, okay, who is the best version of me, and how would they show up in this environment? How would they approach this? So let's start off. The first thing here is I want you to just capture on your notes, on your phone, hell, you can drop it in the comments and serve someone else here, is be like, what is your level of discouragement? How does that show up for you specifically? And what I mean by that is everyone's is different. Sometimes the thing doesn't turn out the way it is, or you put so much effort into a piece of activity, you go launch it and it kind of just flops, or you don't get the result, or you have really high hopes for a level of earning or a revenue target or a cash target, or something happens and then boom, you get discouraged. And the problem of why we're talking about this today is when you get discouraged, what do you think happens to your level of activity? How do you show up for your clients? How do you show up for your team? How do you show up for the people around you? How do you show up for you when you are discouraged? Most of us go into this like, we start beating ourselves up. Like if you can imagine a knife, you're like, why do I suck? Dude, what's wrong with me? And then guess what we do? As soon as we start, what's wrong with me? All this kind of stuff happens. We take that energy, and rather than it driving us forward, we go and look externally to get some judgment and comparison to make ourselves feel even shittier. We will go and look at someone online and a friend or this, and rather than celebrating the wins, the momentum, the prosperity, the abundance, the day and age that we live in, we go and say, well, why is he at 160 grand? Well, why did they make 10K in comms? Why did they do this? What's wrong with me? Why am I a loser? Why is it taking me this long? Why is it not happening this? Why are my numbers lower? Why this? Why that? Why? And you beat yourself up so much. And guess what the problem with that is? A, it feels like absolute shit. B, that energy does not propel you forward. Like, that is a dark energy. It is, it's not a cool word to say because, in today's age, we can't label shit because someone gets offended. It's negative, right? You're like, hey, I'm speaking ill to myself. I'm beating myself up. I'm not being my champion. And what that will lead is, you always have to think about this. You're always in one of 2 directions. You're either drifting or you're ascending. And I'll talk differently in depth about drifters, but drifting is you're going to go wander, you're going to go scroll, you're going to talk a lot of gossip, you're going to, bitch and moan about random stuff to the person that you sleep with, to your peers around you. And the problem is you're going to go on a secret conquest, a secret side mission of self-validation because it feels self-righteous. You want to know secretly, even though you love other people, you secretly want to know someone else is struggling. You secretly want to know a peer or comrade, someone has not figured it out or had a similar setback, is in the same position, because in some way it validates you and makes you feel good. But that is not the way. You're an ascender. You are looking to do things with greatness. You are leading with a heart of service, right? You are being so good you can't be ignored. You are serving at the highest levels. You are, no matter what, you are going to fight to summon the best of who you are, because there is nothing. You are, all these problems, all these issues, they are beneath you. God put you here to do way bigger things. You have so much talent. You have so much potential. And here's the crazy thing. You have overcome way harder shit than whatever the thing is that sets you back. It is so momentarily. It is so temporary that you cannot lose sight of it. Of like, this thing comes in and we take this problem and we zoom into it and we're like, wow, all this is happening, all this stuff is breaking, I don't have time, all this kind of stuff is happening, what's wrong? We blow it up so much. And now we take this tiny problem and we say, this is bigger than me. I cannot handle this. This is so overwhelming. And all that leads, that discouragement, it leads to more doubt. It leads to uncertainty. It kills your confidence. It leads into a self-perpetual cycle of self-sabotage. And it will just build and build and build and build and build unless you catch it. Because zooming in on that and beating yourself up on it, the next piece is it starts to chip at your identity. Whoever you think you are, subconsciously, you are deteriorating that version of you because you are teaching yourself that you suck, that you cannot figure it out, that you are not worthy, that these things are, above you when they're all beneath you. So take a moment. If you made it this far, take a moment to just, okay, it's all good, baby. It's all good. This isn't going to be the thing that stops you. This is going to be the thing that forges your character. You have to reverse the perspective of faith or no faith. Thank you, God. Thank you, universe. Thank you, whatever, for this opportunity because it is going to force me to be better. It is going to force me to be more resilient. It is going to force me to be more patient. It is going to force me to expand my thinking. It is going to force me to become a better version of myself. Because isn't that why we're here? Isn't that the purpose of the work that we're doing? We're trying to ascend as individuals to become the best versions of ourselves. God put us on this earth to do great things and has great plans and great hopes for us. And our job is to grow into that man or woman. That's the purpose of this journey. And in doing that, we're building something great for our lives, for our families, for the people around us, to the people that we employ. We are on that conquest. And the thing that will always rob that forever and indefinitely is always discouragement, because discouragement is a catalyst to so many things, from the doubt, the low confidence, the low certainty. It will lead to, for a lot of guys, it'll lead to pornography. It will lead to a lot of distraction. It'll lead to a lot of drama. It'll lead to a lot of bullshit. It'll lead to so much nonsense. And all of a sudden you are drifting. You are now just this thing flying, floating through the universe, going through it. And all of a sudden you're going through the motions. And then a month passes and you're like, holy shit, where did this month go? And here's the crazy thing. If you take that discouragement and you do not work it out, if you do not get it out of your system, and I'll show you how in just a second, guess what happens? You carry some of that into your sales calls. You will be annoyed with a prospect, not because of the prospect. You are annoyed with yourself because you're mad at yourself. You're frustrated at yourself. You feel annoyed with yourself. So you go and project that onto your prospect. When they did nothing, they just said, hey, dude, I need to think about it. I'm concerned, right? I don't know. It's a lot of money. I'm not sure. Maybe you just didn't do a great job selling them. And they give you an objection. And all of a sudden, you're like, yo, this is unacceptable. And you get edgy with them. You get short with them. You get annoyed. You feel entitled that they're supposed to buy from you because they spent the time on the call. All these things happen because right now, the distinction I want you to pay attention to is when all this happens, generally, you'll beat yourself up. When you beat yourself up, you will start to secretly resent yourself. You'll have less love, less respect, less care for yourself. And what happens in that process is if you don't love yourself, you don't care for yourself, and it sounds, especially for the men, you're like, oh, what do you mean I don't care for myself? If someone put a microphone and a megaphone to your brain and we could hear the thoughts that you were saying, would people freak out hearing how you're talking to yourself? If you spoke to that to your parent, to your best friend, to your partner, would they slap you across the face or divorce you as a friend or a person? The answer is probably yes. So if you would never speak like that to someone else, why the hell are you allowing that into your world? Because all that leads to you not loving yourself. Do you know what happens when you don't love yourself? You don't do shit for yourself. How can you fight for something you don't love? Deep down inside, this took me so long to really understand this. And it was a deep psyche that I was like, oh my God, if I don't love myself and I beat myself up and I hate on myself and I'm annoyed and I'm caught in this loop, oh, what's wrong with me? Why did I miss this? Why did I not follow through? Why can't I stick through? Why am I not motivated? Why am I not disciplined? Why am I such a loser? Guess what? I don't just wake up one day and I'm like, man, you know what? I'm going to decide to be amazing. I just keep self-validating that because that's what the identity of who I'm becoming in those moments are. So the key shift is, I'm going on this whole time to give you time to process. I'm trying to raise your awareness about how discouragement shows up for you specifically. And I would love for you to have the courage to drop in the comment maybe an example of how discouragement showed up for you in the last 30 days. Not so you can, air out your things. It's just to normalize and humanize this for everyone else. But more importantly, just we're all comrades on this journey. We all go through this. This is the common human struggle of we do tap into discouragement. The question is, how long will you live into it? So the next time, the tactical piece is the next time you tap into discouragement, you feel yourself defeated, the first thing you have to do, you ready for this, is check your physiology. If I right now was discouraged, how do you think I would look? I probably wouldn't be here. And listen to how my tone will change. It'll sound like, yeah, bro, this fucking sucks. Yeah, numbers are down this month. It's like I already sound defeated if you hear that. So the first thing is like, yo, check your physiology. And sometimes it's like you just have to skip a beat, push away from the desk and be like, all right, I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to go get a breath, right? Sometimes, like for me, it's super crazy. If I have the capacity or there's that free time or the availability or I'm at home or whatever, I'm just going to go take a cold shower. Okay. I'll do a cold shower. I'll jump in place. I'll do some breath work. I'll even stretch. I'll do some things. Sometimes it'll just be like a simple, like, yo, let me just like reset my body. I'm like, whoo, right? And I'll get up and I'll get playful with my body. Sometimes I'll shake my booty and I'm like, whoo, hi, bro. Yo, it's all good. And I'll talk in second person with like me because like I always think about like the chief ascendant. I'm like, yo, it's all good, baby. We got this. Is what we do. This is how we're going to get over. Yo, it's all good. This is just a tiny little thing. Dude, we can overcome this. All right, man. What's the game plan? What are we going to do? How do we overcome this? How do we push through this? What did we learn from this? Right? And I get way more curious, way more resourceful, way more optimistic about the thing. And I'm looking at this thing as this was a gift given for me to learn, to grow and become a better person. So what can I learn and extract from it? And what is the action plan that I'm going to do to help me overcome this thing? So I start with the physiology. So I'll move it, I'll open it up. I'll get more playful. I'll get smiling and like I'll talk about my problem. Yo, it's all good, man. Okay, you got this thing happening. Okay, yo, you know what? You fell through. You missed through on your commitment to the gym. Hey, you ain't gonna carry that with you the rest of the day to your clients. Yo, release. And sometimes I just have to say, Anas, I forgive you. And I'll just do like, it's all good, man. I forgive you. It's all love. What are we gonna do differently next time? How do you want me to hold you accountable? Okay, man, just remind me. It's all good. All right, bro. I love you, bro. I know you're doing. I know you're trying. I see you hustling. I know you're trying. And you know what? Every day we get a chance to be better. So keep at it, bro. Love you, man. It's literally what I'll talk to myself about. Because if I don't pour into me, I don't cheer into me, I'm not my own number one champion, who else is going to do it? It's not someone else's responsibility. And then my cup is no longer full. And then I can't pour into you. I can't serve my clients. I can show up for whoever because my cup ain't full. So shift the physiology, start pouring into yourself. And then the last piece is just really, you have to start changing the focus of the narrative. It's the same as in objection handling, in selling. What is it, right? You'll hear me talk about it. If you attend our live calls, you'll see me do objection handles, role pitching. All of it is the mastery of learning how to change the frame, the meaning of the current situations. And it's like looking at the thing and being like, okay, this is that. How do I go and change the meaning of this, how this is perceived, what this looks like, right? All this kind of stuff. And I'll give you a very simple example. Yesterday, I was tweaking the setting and I blocked out a part. I had to film some new modules. I was super pumped about it. And I'm like, okay, I did a lot of prep and I got new equipment, new gear, all that kind of stuff. And because there was a new setup and I didn't have my choreographer and like creative director support and all of that, and I was like, okay, man, I'll just figure it out. Like, it can't be that hard. And what happened is the block that I had time to film was literally all me tinkering with the new camera, with the new settings, with the this, the that, figuring out the range, the depth, the sound, blah, blah, blah. So many of these things. And I didn't end up recording what I wanted to record. So in that moment, I got so frustrated. Like, bro, like your chief of staff now, what's wrong with you? How could this happen? Da, 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 da. And I had that moment. And I had to be like, yo, it's all good. Hey, it's all good. Okay, I forgive you. What do we learn? And I had that little bit of edginess and I had to go catch it because I was mad that the thing didn't get done. So I'm like, guess what I had to do? I'm like, okay, so let me go change. So this is what I mean with the focus and the meaning. I'm like, let me go change the meaning of the situation. So I'm like, okay, well, the good thing is now I'm like pretty good pro with this camera now. So now I learned these skills. So now I'm no longer at the mercy of someone else I was waiting on. I had to watch a bunch of different videos, get new equipment, cords and test out new settings. And now I'm just like, I have way more ways to do the same thing. I have way more alternatives to do the same thing. I have way more backups to do the same thing. And part of that whole process is what helped me make this setting so I can shoot this thing for you. And hopefully it's pretty decent. But I'm like, wow, now I can go and do something like this with my own, on my own time. And now I feel way more empowered and way more excited because, so in that moment, I'm like, okay, Anas, it's all go. This is a one and done. You'll learn this once and now it's going to serve you for life. And you know what? It's just a good skill. It's a good, and I'm having to change the meaning. And I'm like, yo, it's all good. And right now it feels like it sucks, but at least you'll be that much better next time. And now you'll be ready. Now you'll have the setting. Now you'll know this. I'm like, yo, it's all good, brother. You paid your dues. This was part of the game. We'll just do it better next time. And it's just kind of that. And I have to be like, yo, I forgive you. It's all good. And it's part of it's giving myself grace, not beating myself up. Sure, I learned some stuff from it. And it's like, well, how can I do it better? And I can't go and do this like autopsy, post-mortem. Oh, if only I could do it this way and that way. It's like, dude, the situation's done. It's already done. So I have to resolve it, be at peace. And so many times we don't give our chance the opportunity to release the energy and the emotion of the situation, and we carry that onto ourselves in a day-to-day. And that projects outwardly to the people around us, to our clients, to our prospects, in our sales, all of it. It's a huge part. What I'm praying, as you made it here, is A, to understand that discouragement is not an emotion that you need to live into. It is a choice. And I'm hoping that you got some thoughts and ideas to help you because all change starts with awareness, is to help you gain conscious control of how you're going to catch your discouragement, how you're going to reframe it and rewire it, and how you're going to push yourself towards the optimism, into the grace, into the forgiveness, back into your goals, into the dream. Because the last bonus thing to do is, when all the shit hits the fan, you always have to come back. What is the goal? What is the purpose of it? What is the why? What is the outcome? What am I working towards? How am I going to feel when it's done? What will this allow me to do, not to do, prevent, stop? Because guess what? You got to go back to, as Stephen Covey says it best, is begin with the end in mind. Coming back to the end in mind. What is the purpose of all of this? Where is this taking me? And if you can resolve and reshift all of that, and you then get to reorient your mind onto the benefit, the outcome, the goal, you will help yourself being, okay, instead of discouragement, I feed the beast. Instead of discouragement, I feed the goal. I feed the ambition. And then this way, you're filling yourself up and you're building so much more momentum, so much more joy, so much more excitement. Because remember, running the business, closing more sales, being of service, doing it at a world-class level. It's not always, hey, teach me all these sales strategies, teach me this. It's not always that. A lot of it is about working on you. Jim Rohn said it best. You have to work more on you than you work on your business. And that's a reality, because you are the business. Whether you're in sales, running a business, running a team, any of that, is the better you show up, the higher elevation and vibration and everything that you show up as, the more you ascend and unlock different areas in your life, from your health, your finances, your relationship, your faith, your energy, your spirit, all of that, the more of that you unlock and open up, you will 1000% get better at sales, have way more energy, have way more excitement, be way more creative, have way more joy and bliss. Because guess what? Every single day, my friend, you get the choice to be average or to fight to summon the best of who you are, so you can ascend into who you're meant to be. God put some greatness into you and huge plans for your life. And I'm excited to walk on this journey with you and watch it unfold for you. Sending you all the love. Appreciate you, my friend. Ciao.